Welcome to the Vedic Mystics channel. In this ongoing series, exploring common yogas in Vedic astrology, today we turn our attention to a less known yet fascinating combination, Gauri Yoga. Though not as frequently seen as some of the more popular yogas we have discussed, Gauri Yoga is certainly one to take note of when it appears in a birth chart. This yoga bestows upon the native a unique blend of grace, nobility, and success. Named after goddess Gauri, a form of Parvati known for her beauty and inner strength, this yoga reflects those very qualities in the person blessed by it. It often indicates someone who carries themselves with quiet dignity, draws admiration effortlessly, and is able to achieve success in elegant yet impactful ways. So, what exactly creates this yoga? For Gauri Yoga to form, three conditions must be met, and all of them revolve around the moon, our planet of the mind, emotions, and subtle beauty. The first condition is that the moon should be in a strong position by sign. This means it must be placed either in Cancer, its own sign, or in Taurus, where it is exalted. A moon in either of these signs tends to be stable, nurturing, and emotionally intelligent, a strong foundation for any auspicious yoga. The second condition is about the moon's position from the ascendant. It must be located in one of the Kendra houses. These are the first, fourth, seventh, and tenth, or in one of the Trikona houses, which are the fifth and ninth. These houses are considered the pillars of a chart, and a well placed moon here gives strength, visibility, and purpose. The first house, interestingly, holds a special place in that it is both a Kendra and a Trikona, making it especially potent in this context. The third and final condition is the aspect of Jupiter on the moon. Jupiter, the great teacher and benefic, adds wisdom, optimism, and a sense of dharma to the moon's sensitive, receptive nature. Naturally, the results are even better when Jupiter itself is strong and well positioned in the chart. Because all three of these conditions must come together in the right way, Gauri Yoga is relatively rare, appearing in only about 3% of charts. Now that we understand the conditions that give rise to Gauri Yoga, let's take a look at the results this yoga can bring, as described in classical texts like Phaladipika. According to the text, a native blessed with Gauri Yoga will possess a beautiful body and a face like a lotus, a poetic way of describing someone with natural charm and serene elegance. But this yoga doesn't stop at outer beauty alone. The native is also said to be a friend of the king, suggesting not just influence and high social standing, but a connection with power and authority. In addition, the person will have good qualities, be blessed with children, and will belong to an illustrious family. These aren't just external markers of success, they hint at a well rounded life grounded in virtue, lineage, and legacy. So, when we step back and look at it, Gauri Yoga beautifully blends three key themes: beauty, shown through the physical grace of body and face; nobility, reflected in high social connections and family lineage; success, celebrated through praise and visible accomplishments. And while the texts use the language of ancient courts, speaking of kings and royal circles, what's remarkable is how this yoga continues to manifest in modern times. Based on example charts, we will see Gauri Yoga doesn't just make one appear royal, it can actually indicate royalty itself. Whether in the traditional sense or as modern day figures of prestige, influence, or artistry, those with this yoga often hold a commanding yet graceful presence in their world. To truly understand the power of Gauri Yoga, let's turn to a remarkable real life example Queen Margaret II of Denmark. Her birth chart stands out as a textbook case of this rare and refined yoga. In her chart, the moon is placed in Cancer, its own sign, giving it great strength and emotional depth. Not only that, the moon is located in the first house, a powerful kendra that also functions as a trikona, anchoring the yoga in the core of her personality. Most importantly, the moon receives the aspect of a strong Jupiter, completing the trio of conditions that create Gauri Yoga in its fullest expression. While beauty is always a matter of perception, Queen Margaret is widely admired for her distinctive style and regal presence. In her youth, she was considered elegant and striking, and over the years, she carved out an unique identity through fashion. Embracing bold colors, dramatic silhouettes, and creative accessories, she often designed her own attire, a daring and personal touch that earned her recognition as a style icon in Europe. Her life narrative also beautifully reflects the nobility and success promised by Gauri Yoga. She was the first child of Crown Prince Frederick, who later became King Frederick IX. In keeping with the royal lineage, her own son now sits on the throne as King Frederick X, continuing the legacy of the Danish monarchy. In Queen Margaret's life, we see all the elements of Gauri Yoga come alive. Beauty, not only in physical presence but in self expression, nobility, both by birth and by character, and success, evident in her dignified reign and lasting cultural impact. Our second example brings us far from the palaces of Europe and into the modern world of democratic leadership. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. While the US does not have kings, in the context of global influence and stature, a two time US president is perhaps as close to royalty as one can get. Obama's chart showcases a strong formation of Gauri Yoga. The moon is exalted in Taurus, lending emotional strength, stability, and grace. It's positioned in the fifth house, a trikona house associated with intelligence and creativity. Most importantly, the moon is aspected by Jupiter, completing the third condition for Gauri Yoga. Now, Jupiter in his chart is technically debilitated, placed in Capricorn. But this is where nuance in astrology becomes essential. Despite the debilitation, Jupiter gains strength through retrogression, Digbala, and multiple Nichabanga Yoga cancellations. These factors not only neutralize the debilitation, but actually enhance Jupiter's influence, allowing it to bestow its full beneficence on the moon. Though Obama did not descend from an illustrious family in the traditional or royal sense, his background carries its own quiet nobility. His father, Barack Obama Sr., was part of an elite circle of African intellectuals during the 1960s. In Kenya, the Obama name carried respect and recognition, and this legacy subtly reflects the lineage aspect of Gauri Yoga. In terms of beauty and presence, Obama is widely regarded as handsome and charismatic. Tall and lean, with a warm smile and expressive eyes, his appearance is often described as clean cut and elegant. And finally, when it comes to success, his achievements speak volumes. Rising to become the President of the United States not once but twice is no small feat. To round out our exploration of Gauri Yoga, we look at one of the most iconic monarchs in history, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. Her life and legacy reflect this yoga in a grand, sweeping scale, both astrologically and historically. In Queen Victoria's chart, we once again see a classic formation of Gauri Yoga. The moon is exalted in Taurus, placed in the first house, a Kendra, and the very seat of the self. This gives her not just physical grace, but a commanding personal presence. The moon is aspected by Jupiter in Capricorn, echoing the configuration we saw in Barack Obama's chart. And while Jupiter is debilitated here, it regains significant strength through several key factors. First, Jupiter and Saturn exchange signs, forming a powerful Mahaparivartana Yoga involving the ninth and 11th houses, both auspicious and dharmic in nature. This mutual exchange, along with one instance of Nichabanga, helps Jupiter shed its weakness and exert a positive, stabilizing influence on the exalted moon. This configuration reinforces the noble and enduring qualities associated with Gauri Yoga. Descriptions of Queen Victoria in her youth match the beauty associated with this yoga. Contemporaries described her as pretty, fresh faced, and lively. She had a round face, clear blue eyes, and a graceful charm that captivated those around her. One might even say her appearance embodied the classical imagery of a lotus like face found in the ancient texts. Of course, Queen Victoria was born into royalty, though she was initially fifth in line to the throne. Destiny, however, had greater plans. She ascended to the throne at just 18 years old, and her reign lasted an astonishing 63 years, an era so transformative it came to bear her name, the Victorian era. During her rule, Britain rose to global dominance, its empire stretching so far and wide that the phrase, the sun never sets on the British Empire, became quite literal. Under her reign, Britain led in industry, science, trade, and culture, shaping the modern world in many ways. Victoria's influence extended far beyond British shores. She was famously called the grandmother of Europe, as her children and grandchildren married into nearly every royal family across the continent, weaving her legacy into the very fabric of European royalty. In Queen Victoria, we see Gauri Yoga in full regal bloom, a perfect harmony of beauty, nobility, and extraordinary success played out on the grandest historical stage. In conclusion, Gauri Yoga bestows upon the native a unique and graceful blend of beauty, nobility, and success. It is a yoga that speaks not only to external charm, but also to the inner strength, lineage, and life accomplishments that leave a lasting impression on the world. Through the lives of Queen Margaret II, Barack Obama, and Queen Victoria, we have seen how this yoga can manifest across continents and centuries, shaping individuals who carry themselves with elegance, lead with dignity, and leave behind remarkable legacies. Though Gauri Yoga is relatively rare, Occurring in only about 3% of charts, its presence is unmistakable when it shines. If you've discovered this yoga in your own chart, we'd love to hear about it. Please leave a note in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else on their journey.